Hello again. This is Eric Arnold here in the secondary studio, not the sports barn. A little chilly here this evening. April snowstorm rolling through. Well, we didn't get any snow. I heard there's a bunch of snow in Ohio. But what's that have to do with anything? Nothing. We're here to give you some MLB picks. We had an okay day today. Could have had a great day. We had a bad pick in there, which I told you as I'm shooting the video. It's like, what's that doing there? You know, and sure enough, that was a runaway loser. Bad loser, too, you know. But we got two picks for the abbreviated card on Thursday, the 22nd, as we make this video in the wee hours of the morning on Thursday the 22nd. So, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Giants, Phillies, that could have gone either way. You know, I don't have too many regrets about that. When you lose a 6-5 game in the ninth inning, you know, could have gone either way. Giants didn't play particularly well, but the one I regret is this Astros game. I'm going to try to make a new rule for you people. You know, as I go through these games and I run my little model on them and I handicap them, and which is a lot, largely probably 75% model, 25% gut. If I can't explain it to you why I'm taking the team, then I think we're going to just throw that out. That seems like a logical rule, because I could not explain why we had the Astros. It made no sense. You know, I've said the Astros were a team to fade at the beginning of the season. Sure enough, they're in last place. I said the Rockies were a team we were looking to play, after they had played 8 games with the Dodgers. I think artificially depressing their record. They're not as bad as the record indicates. And what do? We do the complete opposite. Just because the model said so, and, it was just something stupid to do there. So we paid the price there. Barely squeaked out a win here with Scherzer again, another 1-0. Is he hated like Jacob deGrom? Does his team hate him? They just refuse to score runs for him. But he manages to generally get the W. I don't know. I heard something interesting. Remember Mitch Williams? I talked about him. The Wild thing. Former MLB analyst. He's been blackballed by MLB because of some incident at a little league game, which may or may not have happened. Who knows? But we know him in Philadelphia as 99, the guy that gave the home run up to Joe Carter. Yes, we've forgiven him. Everybody thinks we hate him in Philadelphia. We don't hate Mitch. Mitch is one of the boys. We like Mitch. But going back to that 93 Phillies team, Mitch hates Kurt Schilling. Hates him. And I think some of that stems from Schilling showing up Williams in the 93 playoffs with the infamous towel over the head. Anytime Schilling would pitch, he'd pitch well in the playoffs, take a lead into the late innings. They'd take him out, put Williams in, and then it'd be the high wire act to see if we were going to win the game or not. So Schilling, frankly, did what everybody else saw in the Delaware Valley did. Couldn't watch. It's like, oh boy, here we go, Mitch Williams again. In fairness to Williams, he usually got the job done. He didn't fall off the high wire, except there in the World Series. Then 2 major disasters in Game 4 where he fell off the high wire, and then in Game 6 he fell off the high wire again, and that was the end of us. it was frankly just a matter of time before he fell off the high wire, and we all knew it. Kurt Schilling knew it. But, I'm sure Kurt Schilling's breaking an unwritten rule of baseball by putting the towel over his head and showing up Mitch. So, Mitch has hated him for that, and I'm sure other things ever since. At any rate, setting up what Mitch says, he says that Schilling would not be a Hall of Fame pitcher in his mind because of his one-loss record, in that he has not won enough games. And part of that is because his teammates don't like him, that when Schilling takes the field, his teammates are ambivalent as to whether or not they want to win or not, because, Schilling's on the mound and we don't like this guy, so we're not going to play that hard. And I just found that interesting. It's like, does that happen? I mean, is it possible that no one likes Jacob deGrom and that's why no one hits for him? Mitch was in the show. He's telling me this. I just find that a little out there for me. I mean, for one thing, that would basically go against any rule of professionalism I would know. It's like, oh, so you're giving half an effort because you don't like your teammate? Seriously? I just found that curious. In other words, do we have to look at who's on the mound now and try to determine, is this guy a dick? Do his teammates like this guy, or is he a complete asshole? And they're just gonna, go up there and give half-ass at bats because they don't like him. I don't know. Is that what they're doing to Max Scherzer, who won again 1-0? This time, luckily, we did not have the run line. We paid the price and bid up to get the real price, which, had we had the run line again, we would have lost. At any rate, I just thought that was an interesting anecdote told by Mitch Williams, something to think about. And then the game of the day, the Brewers, we freelanced this game. The model had nothing to do with this one, and it went exactly the way we'd hoped it would. Lamet was short. We didn't think he'd be as short as he was. I guess he only threw about 30 pitches before. Up, my forearm. Yep, Tommy John, you're done. Sorry. The price seemed ridiculously high. The Brewers have a better record right now than the Padres. I think you could argue they're a better team than the Padres. And here we're getting some huge price. So it went exactly the way we wanted it to. That made the day. So we won a little bit on Tuesday. Had we not had that stupid Astro game in there, we would have won a lot. But won a little bit. Couple other things I noted in betting baseball here. Two things we'll look out for these in the future. The price always varies depending on the pitcher, because that's your key guy, your starting pitcher. It's becoming less prevalent with probably a tenth of the games now are bullpen games, where teams are throwing a fifth starter or an opener for 30, 40 pitches, 2 innings, then, here comes the parade of bullpen guys. And those are generally, you got to look at those games, because I think the Rays have proven that you can win doing that. That it's, it's harder on a hitter, I think, when every time up the bat, he's got to face a different pitcher, or he's getting a different look. He just can't make adjustments because, all right, I know I'm going to make sure that I'm not going to get beat on that, that sinking fastball that the pitcher threw me the first time. And here you got a guy he doesn't throw a sinking fastball at all. It's some totally different guy. So, yeah, I think those bullpen games are ones that you can win on. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. I think there are also position players that are key guys that when they're in the lineup, you need to look at that team, or more accurately, when they're not in the lineup, you need to look against that team. Two guys I've identified. Now, maybe you already knew this, but Molina, Yadier Molina for the Cardinals, catcher. He's a key guy in that team. I'm sure of that. That when that dude's in there, that team is much better than when he's out. We won today. Who didn't play? Yadier Molina. Uh, Day game after a night game, he didn't play. They lose, get shut out. Another guy, Salvador Perez, with the catcher for the Royals. He had the game-winning hit tonight against Toronto. Key guy. I looked it up, and I didn't do the deep dive into prices and odds and whatnot. I just got your straight up records, and the record for both of them. When they're in the lineup, records here. When they're out of the lineup, records here. And I don't think the odds would reflect that. Frankly, I don't think that the bookmakers are saying, "Oh, Yadier Molina is not in there today, so we have to knock the price down 20 cents." I don't think they're doing that. Yadier Molina, he's not important. Some of these guys have importance beyond the back of their baseball cards, if you will. That a guy that hits, Yadier Molina might hit 10 home runs, 15 tops. I think I'm exaggerating. I think it's more like 10. The guy has importance, like, in hidden areas, handling the pitching staff. He's the leader. Salvador Perez, definitely the leader of that Royals team. You can tell. I mean, it's like this guy gets the game-winning hit, and it's like Mardi Gras. It's like they just won the freaking World Series. So that's the leader of that team. So yeah, those are two guys, two examples. We want to look and try to find times they're not going to play, and then we want to be on the other side. So if you can think of any other key guys, hey, put it in the comments. I'd be curious to see what you think of, who were the leaders in the MLB on each team? Who's that dude that drives the bus? And if he's not there, the team suffers. I think that is a valid theory. All right. Well, like I said, it's an abbreviated card here for Thursday. So I only had I could come up with two games. One's a freelance game. The other one is the model loves the game, and I kind of do too. But the opener here in the early afternoon, we're going to take the D-backs over the Reds. You're getting a nice price here. I mean, the D-backs have just... are they not on the verge of sweeping the Reds? Is it a 3-game sweep? I'm losing track here. Yeah, let me see. Run something. Whoops. Come on now. I think it's a 3-game sweep. But the Reds have not played well at all against the Diamondbacks this year. Yeah, it's a 3-game deal here. So, they basically, the one game was a suspended game. They finished that today. L for the Reds. Then they had this game, the second game, the 9-inning second game. It's over. I mean, you got 3-0 lead. You got your closer on the mound. That's a win. That's a win. You win that game 95% of the time, maybe more. But this time they didn't, because Amir Garrett, I guess, whatever. Is he that bad? Did he just have a bad night, or does he suck? Because he pitched like he sucked. Dude could not throw a strike. He walks. Nothing makes me angrier than when I get a 3-run lead and my closer's walking dudes. There's no excuse for that. None. Just lob the ball over to the plate. That batter cannot hurt you. The only way he can hurt you is if he gets on base. And if you just walk him, you just did the other team a favor. You cannot walk guys when you got a lead in the ninth inning. But he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He walks two dudes. Then I guess because he can't throw his fastball over the plate, throws a cement mixer slider to a very weak hitter, Van Meter, and the guy jacks a 3-run home run to tie the game. They go on to lose in extra innings. I'm thinking that's got to be a crushing defeat for the Reds. Now they got to turn around and play in, 12, 14 hours. And how do you get over that? I'm thinking the Diamondbacks are feeling good about themselves. You're getting paid here. You're getting a 130 price. I think the pitching matchup kind of favors Arizona. Jeff Hoffman, he of the 6, 7, 8 ERA from Colorado. He's pitched okay now in a Reds uniform, but is he really that good? He never was that good in Colorado. I mean, I get it. He's in Colorado. But on the other hand, at a certain point, an 8 ERA is an 8 ERA. So, this guy, Taylor Widener, he's pitched pretty well. He dueled with Max Scherzer the last time out, 6 scoreless innings. He's got pretty good stuff. I rewatched the highlights. It's like, all right, he can touch 95 with his fastball. He doesn't have, blazing 99, 100, but he can get it up there around 94, 95, and it looked like he was locating his pitches pretty well. Like I said, 6 scoreless. I don't see any reason why Taylor Widener can't fight Jeff Hoffman to a draw, at least. So, I think, the way the Diamondbacks are rolling at the moment, seems like it's worth a 130 price here to take a shot with them to go ahead and sweep the Reds, who are now, they got off to a nice start, and now they're reeling. Now they're spinning out of control. Now they're the Reds. So, like I said, and does this meet my criteria? Well, let's see. One of the teams is a team I'm looking to play against. That'd be the Reds. So, yeah, this meets my criteria. And then the last game, this is a top play here. I think the Padres have just been, I don't know. I don't think they were ready for the Brewers. In other words, they played an emotional series over the weekend against the Dodgers. They know they're going to play the Dodgers again next weekend. They're just marking time until they play the Dodgers. In the interim, here come the boring old Brewers, who nobody really knows anything about. And, at the Brewers, it turns out what they do well is pitch. So, the Brewers just throw 3 days of real good pitching at the Padres, and they get swept. So, I think this is a perfect time for the Padres to get away from their home stadium, change venues, pack the bags, change things up. Getting a nice price here with Yu Darvish, 161. Nice price. The Dodgers, they're playing great. It's a great team. But, they've got some nicks and dings here and there. No Bellinger. Their number 1 pick or whatever, the Lux, the second baseman, he's hurt. Looks like, Kenley Jansen, he's just maybe not quite as good as he used to be. Yeah, just little things here. I just think maybe the Dodgers are going to settle into now kind of, coast mode. In other words, all right, we've established we're the best team. There's no point in winning 120 games. That's not going to get us anything. So now let's just kind of settle into a nice 70% effort and, take it easy for the next few months. And, the Padres, I think, are really anxious to get out there and play the Dodgers and try to, wash some of that bad taste out of their mouth from the Brewers. So, yeah, I like the Padres. Top play here. We really like this game. I think the Padres are going to play very well, especially in this opener. So, that's definitely, we like that. Like I said, the model often looks for these kind of underdogs, playing that team that succeed, out in first place, and they're it's a nice spot for the Dodgers to coast. That's what we're thinking here. That, it's a long season, and when you're out in first like that, sometimes teams just kind of coast a little bit. So good. That's what we have for you. We appreciate everybody that's here viewing the videos. Hey, let's settle in. It's going to be a long baseball season. I think we're going to have some NBA too. Like I said, once we get a little closer to the NBA playoffs, I think I'll probably start watching some of that, paying attention to that. The NHL playoffs, I like the NHL. I like it a lot. But without the Flyers in it, it's just going to be kind of, so I'm not sure which I'm going to, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, certainly the Sixers in the NBA playoffs makes me want to focus on that one a little more. And I would think considering my record in college basketball, maybe I don't know anything about basketball, but I would think I know a little more about basketball than I do hockey. But at any rate, good, great, thanks. All right, so from me to you, good night, good baseball, goodbye.